My name is V. I am with ASMR Claims Services. With whom am I speaking with today? Thank you. And may I also please have your identification number? Perfect. Thank you. Give me one moment. I'm going to go ahead and get your information all pulled up here, okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you so much for waiting there. So I went ahead and got everything pulled up. How can I help you today? Oh, okay, of course. You have any questions that you have, we can definitely go ahead and try to get them answered for you today. Yes, of course. Let me go ahead and get that pulled up here really quick, and we can check the status of your claim. Give me one moment, please. Of course, not a problem at all. Okay, so it looks like currently your claim is pending. From what I'm seeing here in the notes, it looks like we are still waiting for medical information to be received from your doctor. Let me go ahead and take a look here. It should have, but let me double check that it was. Give me one moment. Okay, yep, it does look like it was sent back on the 28th. Yep, so we sent it over to the doctor on the 28th. Let me first go ahead and take a look to see if we have anything on file as far as the paperwork goes. So while I get this pulled up, how's your day been? That's good to hear. Yeah, no, we've been doing well here today. Busy day like usual, but yeah, no, it's been a good day. Thank you for asking. Okay, so I went ahead and I got that pulled up here. So it doesn't appear that we have received anything back from the doctor quite yet. Depending on if they possibly sent it today, there can be a delay between when they send it and when we're actually able to see it on our end. But yeah, as of right now, I'm not showing that we received anything. The due date here for you for the paperwork to come back to us isn't until the 21st, so the doctor still has plenty of time to get that into us. Obviously, the faster they can get it into us, that would be appreciated on our end, but you do have time to get that into us. Yeah, so it does look here like you do have disability benefits through your employer. Let me check something here really quick. Okay, and it does look like we have a disability claim built for you. So let me go ahead and get that pulled up here really quick. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was all set up correctly, and it does appear that it was. Like the leave of absence, this will be pending until we get paperwork, and the due date for this is the same as the leave of absence, so you still have that same time frame to get that information over to us. So essentially, the leave of absence claim, that is going to be like your absence protection. So that'll cover you so that anytime you miss from work isn't counted against you as like an unexcused absence or something. So all of that is covered under the leave of absence. As far as the disability goes, the disability just strictly has to do with the pay that you receive for the time that you're out of work. Those are the big two differences. So one covers your absences, the other one is the actual payment. In general, we need more medical information for the disability than the leave of absence. Typically for the disability, we do have paperwork that the doctor can fill out. But on top of that, we typically also ask for like office visit notes or treatment notes. Essentially, for the short-term disability, we just need to have the most up-to-date information that we can, just to verify treatment and that information moving forward with the claim, essentially. Yeah, so the actual payments themselves, so once, we receive the medical information, as long as it supports an approval, we can go ahead and get the claim approved, and the pay is actually still made by your employer. So essentially, we only advise your employer how much you should be making for the time that you missed, per the disability plan. So we'll send that information over to your employer at the end of the pay period, and then they'll take over on it from their end, and you should be receiving your disability pay the same way you receive your normal wages through your employer. So whichever way that is. I know direct deposit is really popular right now, so if it's direct deposited, you'll receive it that way. Otherwise, if they you still get a physical check, then you should still be expecting that for the disability payments. Yeah, so if by any chance we don't get the medical information in by the due date, then there is a possibility of a denial. Essentially, when we don't receive any medical information by the due date, we'll get it denied. And with that, we do send out denial letters to both you and your employer. So once it's been denied, if it is denied, we'll send out letters to both you and them. And at that point, what your employer does with the denied dates is all on their end, so we can't say one way or the other if there would be any issues with the employment. That would all be taken care with your employer. Yeah, so if the claim is denied, you do have time to get us in the medical information still. For the disability, we have what we call a 30-day grace period. Essentially, as long as you get the medical information into us 30 days from your denial letter, from the date of your denial letter, we'll go ahead and get it reviewed still, and if it supports, then we can go ahead and just get the claim approved at that time. If it goes past 30 days and you try to submit medical, we'll still accept it, but with it, after it's been 30 days, it will have to go through an internal appeals process, so that can take a little bit longer time to get resolved. So if at all possible, if the claim is denied for no medical received, and you do send something into us, afterwards we really recommend trying to get it in before the 30 days to not have to go through that appeals process. Yeah, so I honestly can't say 100% what all they do for the appeal, since essentially that's a different department than we are. So I don't know all of their policies, but if it does come to where you might need an appeal, the appeal specialist at that time will explain everything and the process and whatnot. Yeah, so as far as using your paid time off, what your employer does is they actually have a 1 week unpaid waiting period built into the disability. Basically, the first 7 days are unpaid. So during those first 7 days, you can use up to 40 hours of your pay time off to get that time covered with pay. But beyond that, you wouldn't want to use any PTO for any time after the first 7 days. The reason for that being is if you use the PTO and then later on the disability benefits are approved, then you would be receiving pay for basically twice for the same time period. One through your pay time off, and then another through the disability benefits. And when something like that happens, it can cause an overpayment where you actually receive more than you should have. And at that time, they could try to take some of that back that was overpaid. So just use, if you want to use any PTO for your waiting period, we can definitely, get that inputted. Otherwise, you wouldn't want to use any PTO for the disability time frame. Yeah, so there's actually a specific leave for that kind of scenario where you're not going to be missing time for a long period of time, but it's more like you're going to miss here or there. Basically, we call that an intermittent leave. And with the intermittent leave, the time zone needs to be certified by a doctor, but essentially they'll let us know, for example, for any appointments, you can miss, one time every 2 weeks, and that one time you can miss up to 8 hours from work. So essentially, you would be able to call in absences for, whenever you had an appointment and put it under the intermittent leave so that it gets covered and not counted as like an unexcused absence. The same goes for if you are going to miss work due to a flare-up of your condition. The doctor on that same medical document that they fill out for that can give separate time for both appointments and for any flare-ups of your condition. So it's in that same format where they'll let us know how many times per week or per month, how much time you can miss, and then the duration, whether that be 2 days, 8 hours, whatever the case may be. But yeah, there are some caveats with that claim, those types of claims. The first being is you do need to be FMLA eligible. FMLA is essentially the federal law regarding protected leave from work. So for the intermittent leave, your employer does require that you be eligible for FMLA. And in order to qualify for FMLA, you needed to have been with the company for at least 12 months. And in the previous 12 months prior to your last day worked, before you go out on leave, you needed to have worked at least 1,250 hours. So those are the two requirements for FMLA, but as long as you're FMLA eligible, we can proceed with an intermittent leave. So we won't actually know if you're FMLA eligible until you decide to build a claim, because essentially, since we go off of your last day worked to determine your eligibility, we wouldn't know until we actually built the claim and saw it and everything. But yeah, whenever you want, if you want to try to get that built, just give us a call back and we can go ahead and help you get through that process. So yeah, jumping back to your short-term disability claim. So since we did verify earlier that the doctor received the paperwork, at this point for the disability, there's nothing else that we need from you on our end. I would highly recommend, if you haven't already, to follow up with the doctor's office, just to make sure that they received our fax. I know that sometimes faxes can get lost in communication, in transmission, so you can definitely do that if you haven't already. Again, just to verify that they received it and to see if they can possibly give you a turnaround time of when they should be returning that. And they can return it to us either via email or fax. All of that information are on the forms that they're going to fill out. So, but yeah, again, nothing from you at this time though. We're just waiting for the doctor's information. Yeah. So once we get that information back from the doctor, your specific claim examiner should have the paperwork reviewed within 2 to 3 business days. So they'll go ahead and get that reviewed. After they review it, if they have all the information they need, they'll go ahead and get the claim approved and then send out approval letters to both you and your employer. However, if anything is missing, they'll typically try to reach out to the doctor first directly, just to see if we're able to get that information over the phone. If we're either not able to get a hold of the doctor or they're not willing to provide that information to us, we'll reach out to you just to let you know what's going on and keep you updated, to let you know what else we're needing moving forward. Yeah, so in a case like that where the doctor gives you any restrictions for you in order for you to go back to work, whether that be like needing a stool or a chair, walking in a cam boot, more breaks, whatever the case may be, any restrictions they do provide, do please send those in to us. What we will do is send that over to our accommodations department, and they'll go ahead and review the restrictions against your job demands to see if any accommodation could be made. They will follow up with you and your facility as well. So if there's a decision either way on the claim in regards to your restrictions, they'll follow up with you. But yeah, just do please send those in to us as soon as possible once you do get them. I don't think so. I don't think there's anything else that we need to go over right now. At least on my end here, it looks like, again, we're just waiting for that information from the doctor. So once we get that in, we'll get that reviewed for you. But yeah, did you have any last minute questions for me today? Okay, no, not a problem at all. If you ever need any help, any questions, please feel free to reach out back to us. But otherwise, I do hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.